In this video, I want to be talking all things muscle loss. I want to explain why muscle loss happens, why that might be a problem for you, but most importantly, the things you can be doing to reverse this pattern and make sure that we're striving forwards with that health and fitness well-being goals. So if you are new to the channel, my name's John. I'm a sports injury therapist, and I want to help you to understand your body better, get rid of pain and weakness, strive forward and hit any health, well-being and fitness goals that you want to achieve. Now, if we're going to achieve those, we're going to need as much muscle mass as we can have. Now, the problem with that is as we age, unfortunately, the research shows that we get quite alarming rates of muscle atrophy or muscle wastage. Now, if you're sitting and watching this video and you're somebody who's in your 30s and you think, well, this doesn't apply to me, unfortunately, you would be wrong. Our research shows that from about the age of 30, we lose between 3 and 8% every decade, up to being about 60. And it doesn't stop there, unfortunately, because once we get beyond 60, that rate actually accelerates and it can be up to about 15% per decade of muscle mass lost. So that's not great. We know we don't have to be a mathematician to do those maths to realize that quite quickly we can be losing a considerable amount of muscle mass. And why is this a problem? Well, we know that we need this muscle mass to do the things we want to do in life. We know that unfortunately a reduction in muscle mass can lead to an increase of risk of injury, increase in risk of falls, and ultimately lead to us not having that healthy, happy life that we all want to be leading. And so you may be thinking, well, this is just a part of aging. This is something that happens to the body as we get older. It's a machine that breaks down and there's not much we can do about it. Well, that would be a very depressing thought. And the good news is it's not one that we need to maintain, because there definitely are things that we can do about it. First of all, we want to understand a little bit about why this might be happening. Why is this muscle mass happening? Well, there's a few factors. As we get older, there's things like hormonal changes, and we get a reduction in certain growth hormones that help to boost up our muscle growth. But let's be honest, there's just a reduction in activity. A lot of the time when we get older, we're less active than when we're younger, and therefore we're using those muscles less. If we don't use it, we lose it. And that is the case with muscle mass. If we're not working out, if we're not physically active, then we are going to lose that muscle mass. We also have to put nutrition into play. Protein is the vital food source that gives us muscle growth and muscle repair. So if we have a reduction in protein as we get older, again, this can lead to muscle mass reduction. So what we need to do now is focus on the key part of this video. What I want you to go out and make sure you're impacting upon in your life so that you don't get these reductions in muscle mass and you do strive forward to hit those health and well-being goals. So firstly, let's talk about making sure that we are doing as much resistance training as we should be doing. Now, what should this be, and what does this even mean, resistance training? Well, resistance training, what we're talking about here is making sure that we're lifting some weight. So you might think, do I need to go to the gym? Well, that's not a bad shout. That's where we've got artificial weight, but we can also lift our body weight as well. It doesn't have to be artificial weight, but by using our body weight in some form of exercise is going to be incredibly important to not reduce our muscle mass. Unfortunately, muscle mass reduction happens quite quickly, as we've said, but by using those muscles, we can definitely reduce that reduction in muscle mass. So what are some of the exercises we can be doing? Well, yes, you can be in the gym and we can be doing exercises like a bench press, a shoulder press, a bicep curl, a chin up, all these exercises that are going to be using machinery, but also we can do simple exercises like squats, lunges, glute bridges, standing up from a chair even repeatedly, looking to make sure that we're doing about 2 to 3 sessions a week where we know we're applying some resistance. Now, this can be anywhere between about 15 minutes to an hour, but looking to make sure that we're really using those muscles against some resistance to the point where they start to feel quite fatigued. So as I say, that might well be going through a home body weight exercise. We could be using things like bands, or we could be going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week and using the weights there. But whatever we're doing, it's a really good thing to be doing. And if you're not sure about what you should be doing, I'd urgently request you to go and see a physiotherapist or somebody who can really settle a program that's in for you, that we want to be progressive, sustainable, and overall hit that resistance training goals. What else do we need to do? Well, we could also be active. By being physically active, that's going to help our reduction in muscle mass. Think of our step count. We know that we want to be taking at least 10,000 steps a day. What tends to happen as we get a little bit older is we become a little bit more sedentary. How can you fight that? Perhaps you can start your day by going for a walk. Perhaps when you're waking up in the morning and you get your cup of tea, or you want to do something to get yourself going, have that cup of tea while you go for a walk. Get that step counting early. Have that 10,000, get the 2,000 steps in where we can. Also, introduce some cardio training where you can. So this might be running, this might be cycling, this might be rowing, swimming, an exercise that makes us physically active. Again, this making sure that we use it, not losing it approach. By doing these physical activities, we're going to be using that muscle mass, and that's going to make sure that we are not having that muscle mass wastage. Next up is making sure that we're getting appropriate sleep. Now, sleep can be really important because we know when we're sleeping, that's when the growth and the repair of that muscle tissue is happening. So by using it with this resistance training or the physically active cardio work, we know we're going to be breaking down that muscle tissue so it grows back stronger. But this happens quite strongly during that sleep phase. So again, as we get older, sometimes we can go through stages in life where it's harder to get good sleep. But by making sure we're getting good sleep, that will be crucial in preventing muscle wastage for you. Next tip I would say is having a quick focus on our diet. And in particular, as I mentioned at the start of the video, making sure we're hitting enough protein. Roughly speaking, we're looking between 1 and 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So if you are 70 kilograms in body weight, it's 140 at maximum, but anywhere from 70 to 140, 80 would be 80 to 160, if that makes sense. And we can get this from protein powders, but also we can get this naturally from things like yogurt, chicken, good sources of protein, turkey, making sure that we're getting that protein into our body to help reverse those effects of muscle wastage. And then finally, just making sure if we can is to monitor our muscle mass. The good thing, some of those high-end pieces of technology have really come down in price to where people can have scales at home that can monitor their muscle mass. Or there'll be lots of gym facilities or health establishments where it's easy to go and get a monitor of your muscle mass. Like anything, if we know data, it's easier to track. So by constantly monitoring your muscle mass, perhaps once a year, you'll be able to highlight if there are any times of reversal or any wastage happening and correct those by bringing in the earlier tips that we've spoken about in this video. I hope that's been helpful for you. If anything, this could be some of the most crucial tips. It's not something that's going to change overnight, and we're not also going to see it happening overnight in terms of the muscle wastage. But by putting good steps into your life and into your daily habits will really make a huge difference. And as we do, as we all will, progress through life cycle and become a little bit older, what it will allow us to do is keep doing the things we love. Keep being healthy, keep being active, keep having really good well-being, which is what we're all after. Have you made it this far through the video? If you have, well, I'm hugely grateful. You can show me you have by smashing that like button, because that's going to show me that this is the type of content that you and probably others want to be seeing. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, why not? Hit that subscribe button down below, come and join our community, and that way I will keep you updated on all the videos set about to help you understand your body better, get rid of your pain and weakness, strive forward and hit those health and wellbeing goals. I'll see you on the next video.